What the weirdest thing you did while you were high? I set a Hot Pocket in the microwave and put in my PIN number for the cook time. One time years ago I was camping at a campground with my wife and a few friends. We're all sitting around the fire drinking. Her brother and I go for a walk to smoke some joints. We finish that and I have to piss, so he goes back to the group. And when I'm done I head back as well. So I get back and I'm pretty baked at this point, and I'm just standing there watching the fire and drinking my beer for a few minutes. I then noticed a particular Coleman lantern on the picnic table and thought to myself, I don't remember us having one of those here. It was at that point that I realized I was standing at the wrong damn campsite, amongst a bunch of people I have never met, while my group was watching from the next site over, laughing and wondering WTF I was doing. Freaked out that I'd lost my iPod somewhere on the way to the train station. I got off the train and went back, retracing my steps all the way back to my apartment, only to realize that I was listening to music the whole time. On my iPod. Was hot boxing and used my windshield wipers to try and clear the smoke. Got up to leave my bedroom and knocked on the door before opening it to go out. I used to go round a friend's every week to watch a particular TV show and get stoned. On about the fourth week my friend started going crazy, like he'd had this sudden major epiphany. They've got the same names as us. It had been 4 episodes and neither of us had noticed the 2 main characters had the same names as us. That was proper weird. Edit. So many people trying to guess my name. I'm Rumpelstiltskin, y'all. Spent 45 minutes looking for my glasses with my friend. Said fuck it BC, I had to leave and was now running late. When I went to put on my sunglasses I smashed them onto my glasses. I had my glasses on my fucking face the whole time and neither myself or my friend noticed. I was on acid at a music festival and asked a cop if he would name a hurricane after me. Fortunately he thought that was funny. Ordered food for delivery. Forgot. Went to grocery store for stuff to barbecue. Remembered about the food for delivery while paying in line. One time I came back inside from a back porch smoke and put my lighter in the sink. My reasoning was, I'll put it in the dishwasher later. It's not that weird. But I get really weird sensations when I am high. Other people probably get it too, but I just don't know how to describe it. But one time I was just rubbing my leg a little because I was cold. And my friend was sitting next to me. So then I was like, well, I can feel my hand and I can feel my leg. I wonder if I can feel hers? So I rubbed her leg and was like, wow. I can't feel it, and I didn't really understand why. My friend just laughed at how stupid I was. LMAO. Eating yogurt with a fork in front of my parents. My dad waited for about 10 minutes to say that a spoon might make it easier. A few years ago I was on shrooms with some friends and we went on a walk to smoke a cig. Every time I took a puff of my cigarette, I was expecting to taste Mountain Dew and I was disappointed every time that it didn't. I quit smoking cigs a few days after that. I came home cross-faded one night. Easily the most intoxicated I'd ever been. I walked into the living room and pushed the TV to the back of the table. Instead of the couch I sat down where the TV used to be and stared at the couch silently. Alone. And in the pitch black darkness for at least 30 seconds before saying out loud, "So this is what it's like to be a TV." I realized then I'd had way too much and went to bed before I hurt myself. Completely freaked out because everyone around me was speaking a foreign language and I couldn't understand anything. Note to self: don't get high in a foreign country. Went to let the dog out and I walked out instead and left my dog inside. Ate a whole bowl of cereal with a fork. Took me like 2 minutes to figure out why TF it was taking so long and why I wasn't getting any milk. Blew on my cereal to cool it down. The very first time I got high. My lovely friend told me, "You'll know when you've had enough," so of course I smoked a ton. When I wasn't moving, it felt like time had stopped. I had no idea what was going on. If I moved though, I was completely fine. I ended up dancing to no music by myself as long as I could before I went to sleep. I think I went to sleep anyway. Time wasn't working. I may have just laid there for 8 hours. Every time I get stoned, I just want to confine myself to the smallest space possible. It's not a fear or anxiety thing. Stoned me genuinely feels more comfortable under a table or bed. Or even inside a cardboard box. This one time. Got high. Ate a bunch of jalapeno poppers. Not that weird. No. The weird part was the calendar appointment I made for myself the next morning that just said HAHAHAHAHA. Jaime apparently predicted the right time for my morning bowel movement. And as those little jalapeno poppers burned again on the way out, he reached out across time and space to laugh at sober me about it. I was living on my own in an apartment for the first time. And one of my first investments was a sheet, 100 doses, of acid. I was gobbling them up at an insane rate. Tolerance builds pretty quickly to acid. So by this point I wasn't seeing acid-y things anymore. But I was thinking acid-y thoughts. Like for instance, I wasn't taking trash out because I thought my building would see me hauling out a bunch of trash bags and think, "That dude's got a lot of trash. He's a dirty dude." And that then they'd either kick me out or call the police on me. So I opted instead to let the trash pile up around me. I also thought I was going to be a writer for The Simpsons. Anyway, it all came to a head about 2 months into my heavy acid use. In about 8 weeks I had eaten about 80 tabs of acid. I was feeling pretty fried. And I was trying to make myself some pancakes. I had this plate that was covered in pancake batter and I thought, "Man, fuck this." I gave up, and threw the batter-covered plate into the dishwasher and turned it on. I heard, click click gurgle gurgle gurgle. I walk over to check. And find that I've broken the absolute shit out of my dishwasher. And now there's black water pooling up at the bottom of it. The new paranoid thought was that my building would charge me to replace the dishwasher. I was freaked out. Until I had a masterstroke of genius. What if, I thought, I just throw away all my dishes? What? Asked the last rational part of my brain. To which acid brain responded, "Hear me out. Hear me out. Here's the plan. Step 1. We throw away the dishes. Then, when the apartment building asks, 'Did you break your dishwasher?' I can get real indignant and say, 'What? Break my dishwasher? You fools. I don't even own dishes.' And then I threw away all my dishes. That was several years ago. And I still haven't replaced all of them. Edit. I wish it had occurred to me yesterday to use this to plug my stand-up comedy. But for anyone that thought this was funny, you can watch me do stand-up here. Sub-edit. I've officially done the filthy business of going through each comment telling me this was funny, and one guy who said it wasn't funny, and plugging my stand-up. Sorry about that. Thank you to everyone who read this. Bought fresh fish at the wholesale fish market. When you've been partying all night. Until dawn. And you see sober people in action. The fish market is really fascinating. When you wake up the next morning afternoon and thirst lets you open the fridge. And you see ****TLOAD of silvery eels. You cannot really relate to that fascination anymore. I stared at ants outside for a solid hour and a half. Just going about their business. I'm not too fond of insects sober. But when I'm high they're so goddamn interesting. I thought that, if I became rich, I'd keep all my money in pennies to prevent people from stealing it. Also once tried roasting a hot dog with no stick. Just holding the wiener in my hand over an open flame. It did not work. I started to get random sensations all over my body. The inside of my left thigh was getting really warm and I had to keep checking every few minutes to see I hadn't pissed myself. Used my phone torch to find my phone in the dark. I ate mushrooms by myself and some guy dropped off pizza at my house, so I signed for it. Only thing is, I didn't order any pizzas. My boyfriend came home and said, "You ordered pizza." It had been sitting on the table for hours. I thought I dreamt it. Whoops. The guy came to the very wrong house. But I did tip him handsomely, so I did the right thing. I was thinking about how great my friends are and how pretty they are and decided I should talk to myself like that too. So I tried on all these clothes I feel self-conscious in and gave myself a bunch of compliments. Standing by the sink. Weeping as I tore into the most juicy and delicious whole ripe mango. In my mind I thought it was some sort of alien creature and it was giving its life in exchange for my pleasure. I thought it was the most beautiful, selfless act anything had ever done for me and was overcome by emotion. I must have looked like a goddamn weirdo, but it was still a beautiful moment. Edit. I remember a roommate coming into the kitchen and asking what was wrong because I was crying and whispering thank you. Thank you to the fruit. I was fucked up looking for my hotel in Atlantic City. Somehow got there and woke up the next morning to just hotel being in the search bar of my Spotify. That was my best effort. In no particular order. Woke up to the remote control for the TV inside of the fridge from the night before. Let YouTube autoplay for so long that I was eventually watching firetruck drag racing. And everyone's favorite. Watched hours upon hours of the Yule Log TV show with my friends. So much that we knew when the hand was going to come into the scene to move the logs around. Went to White Castle to get food for everyone after we smoked. We all had the same order. 2 double cheese sliders and an order or mozzarella sticks. When I gave her my order, I didn't just say that I wanted 8 double cheese sliders in total. I repeated the 2 double cheese sliders and mozzarella sticks 4 times. By the time I got to the end of my order, the cashier sounded so defeated. I still cringe thinking back to that moment. But it's also one of my funniest smoke stories. Got high in a soccer field after dark. Laying down. Looking up at the stars. I suddenly felt the spin so bad that I grabbed onto the grass cause I swear I was going to call off the planet. Years ago, before the internet. Was having a panic attack while high. Wanted to connect with the Ask a Nurse hotline. But couldn't remember the number. Kept calling 411 asking them to connect me to 1-800-NURSE-ME. I was holding my cat next to the sink and somehow he just looked like he really wanted to get in the sink and take a bath. So I turned on the water just a trickle and edged him closer and closer to the faucet, whispering to him, "Hey buddy, don't you want to take a dip?" In my mind he totally did and was just too nervous to admit it. In real life, he's a cat and cats don't like water. So if you could have looked in on this scene, you would have seen me high as hell. Murmuring to the cat and trying to dunk him in the sink. All the while he is frantically clawing me to shreds trying to escape, and I am not noticing in my single-minded pursuit of finally letting him experience water. Edit. Thanks for the upvotes and silvers. Pals. Here's the chunkster himself. One time my eye was really dry, so I stopped drinking my water and started slowly pouring water into my eye. All of it while I was sitting on my friend's bed. Leaving just a bit so I could still have one gulp. I was trying to get food delivered to me, but I just googled the word deliver for 40 minutes. Edit. Wow, I get to say the best words ever. Thank you for the silver and gold, kind strangers. This made my night. I bought a cowgirl outfit on Amazon and learned to play 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. I'm a guy, by the way. I remember thinking that I was going to be some crazy successful cover artist with that gimmick. The cowgirl outfit doesn't fit BTW. Not even close. The first time I smoked keef was my 21st birthday after already drinking way too much. The fade was so intense that I couldn't walk. My friends put me in my bed, but for some reason I felt the need to not be in my room. So with my non-functioning legs, I crawled on my elbows down the hall and down a staircase to an empty bedroom where I laid on the floor in the dark for 30 minutes. Then I got uncomfortable laying on the ground, so I miraculously regained control of my legs and managed to remove the door to the bedroom to lay on. Pretty solid mattress if you like yours firm. Before we moved from California, my wife wanted to see me get really high just once. She'll never make that mistake again. I literally was incapable of not talking. My ADD brain was running at 200 miles per hour and the filter to my mouth was disengaged. Walked up to the bathroom mirror with a flashlight. Shined it on my eyes and studied the color patterns of my eyes for about 20 minutes straight. And singing loudly at the same time. I played Rocket League and my sole purpose was to hit the other team's cars. Nothing else. Edit. Bonus. I also watched 50 Shades Freed and ate a medium Domino's pizza and sandwich by myself. Every 5 or so minutes I would pause the movie to laugh at how shitty it was, but I saw the whole thing. Was watching a Korean drama when I had a whole freak out when I realized, holy shit. I suddenly understand Korean. I woke my BF up and made him watch with me as I translated for him. He laughed at me for 5 minutes before he told me I was actually just reading the subtitles. I decided to barbecue a tri-tip I had been marinating for a couple days and set up my camper grill in the pickup bed of my truck. While it was raining outside. Halfway through the grilling process I thought to myself, maybe this isn't the best idea. So I decided to finish the cook indoors, but my dumbass removed the mini propane tank before the flame was completely out. That was a terrible mistake. I could have easily burned my face off had I not immediately jumped out of the pickup bed like an action movie stunt double. I ended up belly flopping onto the wet grass, and to make things even better I fucking landed in dog shit. Who gave this 3 golds? That guy did a weird thing. Just commented this on another Askreddit post, but one time I was leaving California and was really high going through airport security. And when I was taking off my belt I proceeded to unbutton my pants and almost pulled them down until I caught myself. TSA agent and I shared a good laugh. Made a cup of tea with cold water and proceeded to put the entire concoction into the microwave. When I discovered that the door wouldn't close because the mug was too big. I tipped a bit of water from the mug and tried again. Peed with laptop in one hand in the dark. While watching a movie on the laptop. Did that like moments ago. Still high. Ate a bowl of cereal with heavy cream because I thought it was milk. I'm lactose intolerant. Poisoned myself accidentally by smoking out of the big Poland spring water container. The plastic melted. Put honey in my pubes so that I'd never go hungry again. Cried after watching the selfie music video from Chainsmokers. Back in college. I got super baked with friends. Like almost nonverbal. Tunnel vision stoned. We went to this donut place near campus, Ken's Donuts if anyone is familiar with the UT Austin area. I was staring at the counter full of donuts. I felt like I was standing there for like a minute quietly humming and thinking. Apparently. It was closer to 10 minutes and I was loudly humming the theme song to Jurassic Park over and over again. For some reason we were listening to it on the drive over and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I laughed my ass off multiple times while eating the donuts after the whole standing, humming like a moron thing I was doing. Me to my friend one time when I was high, dude, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Okay, what am I thinking? If someone rubs their face really hard it looks like they're rubbing their skin off their face to make it into a mask. That was not what he was thinking. To this day I have no idea what came over me. Buddy of mine started petting the TV remote like a cat. The first time I got high. The first thing my friend asked me was, "How are you feeling?" And I just sat there for about 45 seconds thinking to myself. I'm just so relaxed, everything is so still, before I said to them, I'm a plate. I had a very long conversation by a fire with some guy who was high on something. While I was high on something else. We were in that zone where he really needed someone to listen to him in order to hold it together. To this day I can't tell if he was talking absolute gibberish or I was just hearing gibberish. But I smiled and nodded for a very long time. Edit. Thanks for the nice comments. The dumbest thing I've done while I was high was think my bowl of cereal was my phone and just tossed the whole bowl, milk, cereal, spoon, onto my bed. That was a fucking mess. Some girls in high school invited me to go smoke and swim in a creek with them. Of course I went to got high as fuck. Spent the next 30 minutes sitting in the creek. I was so still that a fish came up and bit my ass. I didn't realize what I was doing until one of the girls asked me why the fuck I was all alone sitting in the middle of a creek not moving. I had a really sudden random, weird taste in my mouth. I yelled, quite loudly, blah, and everyone around whipped their heads to look at me. I could tell by the look on their face WTF is wrong with you. I was very embarrassed to say the least. I smoked a lot in college. 1 4/20. My buddies and I rolled 12 Dutches together in what culminated to be a 30 grams blunt. The Super L lasted from 4:20 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. We was high. I woke up the next morning with a pillow and blanket on a low branching tree outside of their place. I had found a nice niche where I wouldn't fall out, wasn't high enough to get hurt anyway, and snoozed for IDK how many hours. Don't remember the events leading up to it. But it was a good day. I miss college. Set my voicemail message to "I'm so high right now." That's how my entire family learned I smoked weed. I was trying to set my voicemail box up. But gave up. Had a bunch of canna butter with my roommate. And after 3 hours, it hadn't kicked in. So we walked to the discount grocery store. Of course. That's when it hit us hard. We ended up finding this massive bag of cheese puffs. I've never before or since seen a bag this big. And on the way back home we opened it up and started munching. Well, we passed a 24 hours fitness. The kind with wall-to-wall windows. And we couldn't fathom why anyone would want to work out over eating cheese puffs. We pressed ourselves in front of the windows, eating and mocking those inside until a worker came out and told us to leave. My friend's cat and I had the most deep conversation about life. Ever since we've had the utmost respect for each other. Watched myself dance in the mirror for maybe 20 minutes. I ate an entire block of cheddar cheese, methodically slicing it and applying different condiment to every slice until it was all gone. Sriracha, honey, peanut butter, ketchup, barbecue sauce, every kind of mustard, ranch, Caesar, Vegemite, Frank Red Hot, curry paste, wasabi, soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, strawberry and raspberry jam, grape jelly, Miracle Whip and mayonnaise. That is literally everything. To this day my favorite snack is honey and sriracha on cheddar. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.